from your perspective down the stretch for your team?
I mean, I thought that we battled. I mean, obviously, it wasn't a pretty game. I told our kids going into the overtime, when we were at the overtime, the break in between going to overtime, I said, listen, this is Horizon League basketball. It's physical. It's not pretty. It's clutchy. And I thought that our kids did a great job. I thought they overcame missed shots. I think we overcame some free throws. We had been shooting free throws about 74 or 5% over our last 4 or 5 ball games. And spent a lot of time yesterday going to practicing foul shots, actually, because we knew we were going to get a ton of them at the line. But again, when you have good years, you overcome these kinds of situations. It wasn't for lack of effort. We just didn't shoot the ball well, and we didn't make our foul shots.
Coach, one of the areas you guys excelled in, I thought, was on defense. 3 of the baskets came right at the buzzer. You got to be thinking to yourself, God, this isn't going to be our night if this keeps happening.
Well, there's a couple of things. I thought defensively we did a really good job in the last 5 or 6 possessions of the game. It's disappointing to some regard to know who their 2 best players are and for them to dominate. One dominated the first half, the other dominated the second half. But on the other side of that, our last 3 minutes, I thought we got some great stops. Dane made a big jump shot in the corner, and when DB went to the foul line, I told him, hey, we only need one. And I thought we battled. I thought it was an ugly ball game, but I think our kids battled hard.
What about Abraham going out? It seemed like you were able to guard people a little more aggressively.
Yeah, I thought though I'll have to look at it, Joe, on film, but I thought the last 4 minutes or so, or I shouldn't say last 4. I think the last, from the 10-minute mark or the 9-minute mark down, I thought we did a really good job on it. I'm not sure that he scored. And I thought we did a really good job defensively in the last possession that they had at the end of regulation. I thought DB and those guys really battled really hard down there. So, but those 2 guys are upperclassmen. Gibbler's having a heck of a year, and he, he schooled us in the post, and we've done a pretty good job on our post defense. Guys like Pogue and some of those other dudes lately, we've done a pretty good job. But those 2 big kids got the best of us tonight.
How about from a school perspective, the 1,000th career win here for you?
I was alive when that first game came out. No, that's how old I feel. I'm proud of YSU. I'm proud of what it means, what Youngstown is to the Valley. Coach Roselli obviously has, close to 600 or a little over 600 of those wins. On a night that you get your 1,000, you cannot not remember him and what he did for basketball and what he did at YSU. So obviously it's a historic night, but let's bring up Coach Roselli's name in that night.
One other thing, 14 points off their turnovers, and you guys only turned it over 3 times.
Well, that's been our strength in terms of taking care of the basketball. Our goal tonight was to keep them to under 10 offensive rebounds. We got a really tough game on Saturday, but I'm happy for our kids. They played hard tonight. They played hard. It wasn't an effort issue. It was kind of execution times, but I thought we played really hard.
Can you give us a little scouting report on UIC since we won't see?
They're really good. I mean, I just told our kids, I don't think since I've been here I've talked about an opponent immediately after a win like this. But I told our kids, listen, they've had, I think, 8 games decided under 5 points or 5 points and under. They've got a post kid that's better, as big as anybody we've seen. He's 6'9", 265, 270 pounds, and their guards are really quick. So they're very good. Their record doesn't show it, but they've played everybody. They lost at Milwaukee in overtime. They lost at Green Bay by 3. They lost to Wright State in overtime. They beat Detroit. They lost to Dayton by 4. Had a chance with 8 seconds to go, down by 2 to win it. So this is a good basketball team coming in here on Saturday.